We welcome you to this broadcast of boys varsity basketball on NKTelco Sports. We are at Russia Local Schools where the Anna Rockets will take on the Russia Raiders. Tonight's game is brought to you by the following sponsors: Keyhole Pizza, First National Bank, Precision Strip, Emerson Copeland, Carriage Works, Grand Lake Health, Kogi Plumbing and Heating, Lincoln Electric Automation, Minster Bank, Pratt Industries, New Knoxville Supply, Wagner's IGA, Wilson Health, Winners Meats, Jewelry Barn, and NKTelco. Good evening, everyone. My name is Craig Fissinger, and with me tonight is my broadcast partner, Tanya Hammonds. Tanya, this is the first time this season that you and I have done a broadcast together, and as a matter of fact, you told me this is the first time you've done a boys broadcast ever.
Absolutely. I am so excited, Craig. Boys basketball is just a thrill to me. It's so fast compared to the girls game that has developed on its own and has become quicker. But there's just something a little bit different about doing a high school boys basketball game in the Claire C. Naveau Gymnasium.
Well, this is the first time you and I have done a broadcast, but this is not the first time that these two teams have played this season. And it's one of the unique things about the Shelby County Athletic League, and that's the round-robin format, which each team gets to host each opponent on their home court.
Yes. This team, the first time they met, was a difference of 23 points in the Raiders' favor. So that was back in December, real close to Christmas time. So we'll see what happens tonight. But when you have the round-robin, home-to-home format, there's something to be said. There's a couple pros and there's a couple cons. And when you go out and look at different leagues like the WOAC, they have 12 teams. So a single round only makes sense for them, in addition to the MAC where they have 11 teams. But the Three Rivers Conference has set up their schedule pretty similar to ours, where you face your opponents twice, each getting a home court advantage. You know, you're getting to see a team twice, and you know what they're doing the second time. The nemesis is that third time should you see them in the tournament. Luckily, the Raiders and the Rockets won't have to do that because of the different divisions, but for the majority of the Shelby County Athletic League, that's not the case.
All right, well, let's talk about these teams here tonight. We'll start with the Russia Raiders. They were led by interim head coach Spencer Cordiner, who in his second stint with running this Raiders program after previously being at the helm from 2015 through 2018. Overall, Coach Cordiner has a current career record of 70-20 for a 78% win percentage, and that is the best win percentage in boys school history. This season for Russia, who is state ranked number 4 in the latest poll, they have a record of 15-1 overall and 8-1 in the SCAL. That one loss coming against number 2 ranked Jackson Center, who has a league record of 9-1. Tanya, let's talk about this battle for the SCAL championship. Jackson Center played arguably their last tough league game of the season this past Tuesday when they topped Fort Laramie, and all that's left for the Tigers now are the two teams at the bottom of the league. Russia, on the other hand, they got Anna tonight, Botkins and Fort Laramie coming up. You know Coach Cordiner as well as anyone. How important is a league championship to his program?
I think to this particular group of boys, it's super important, and in addition to the program, it's been since 2018 since the Raiders have won a league championship. There's just something about being said for taking that crown, because our league tends to be super competitive, and you never know what you're going to get every night when you come out. The battles are just fantastic, and when you talk to visiting schools who don't participate in the SCAL, they just love Shelby County League basketball, and how can you not? But the Raiders really need this title, I believe, for this specific group of boys, because they just, not only are they great teammates, they're great friends. And that's my opinion why it's so important to them. They just want to do it for each other.
Well, the Anna Rockets, on the other hand, they are led by longtime head coach Nathan Barhorse, who's now in his 11th season coaching at his alma mater. His career record is 189-107 for a 64% win percentage. This season, the Rockets have an overall record of 7-10, including 4-6 in the SCAL. Coach Barhorse's team actually started out the season on fire, winning 4 of their first 5 games, but after their 4-1 start, they fell to Russia on December 16th, and that started a losing streak of 9 consecutive games. However, they broke that a little while ago. They've won 3 in a row now. Tanya, you're a former coach. Anna came into this season after graduating almost 40 points per game, as well as the SCAL Player of the Year and McCain Finkenbein. Perhaps it takes a little while to find your identity.
Especially for the Anna Rockets. Coming off a football program, they've got to find, that's a different form of leg strength you got to find. And when it takes a little bit to get going, it might take to midseason to figure out who your go-to person is. And I think they've made some changes lately and brought up a sophomore and Mr. Myers, and maybe that's the key. Maybe that's the difference. But they certainly are going to have a hard stretch going on. After playing us tonight, they run on to play Miami East, Marion Local, Versailles, and Botkin. So they've got a rough stretch coming up, but maybe they've hit their stride and they're on their way.
All right, well, let's take a look at these SCAL standings before tonight's national anthem. Right now in first place, it's Jackson Center at 9-1. Russia is in second at 8-1. Botkin's in third place at 5-4. You got Fort Laramie also in third place at 5-4. Anna in fifth place at 4-6. Houston in sixth at 2-7, and finally Fairlawn looking for their first win at 0-7. In addition to our game tonight, you got two other games in the league. Fort Laramie is over at Fairlawn. Houston is at Botkins. If we get any updates on those games, we will share those with you here tonight. And Jackson Center, they do get the night off. So we're going to take a short break for tonight's national anthem. We'll be back in a moment. Russia versus Anna is coming up next on NKTelco Sports.
I'm Mallory. My grandpa's been making the world's worst pizza for 30 years. That doesn't look like the world's worst pizza. Grandpa, I know why they call you Chunky Bob. It's because you use chunky ingredients on your pizza.
Of course, it's not because I'm fat.
Grandpa, this is the world's best pizza. Keyhole Pizza, come check Grandpa out.
Dine in or carry out.
Together, we are family, working safely for our loved ones.
We are problem solvers who challenge the status quo and drive improvement.
We care about our customer relationships.
We stay true to our values, caring and respecting one another.
We embrace change as we journey through our career.
We are Precision Strip, the world's leading processor of rolled steel and aluminum.
Precision Strip, doing the exceptional.
At Wilson Health, we're extending care beyond the walls of the hospital, with resources designed to keep you in charge of your health.
Our independence and connection to the community are unique in a world where big healthcare strives to act like corporations.
Our tools may be the same, but we are different.
We're neighbors, friends, and family who truly care about the people who live here.
We call it caring without limits, and it's just the beginning of a whole new Wilson Health.
NKTelco Sports would like to thank our additional sponsors tonight, and that is Burke Petroleum, Chiltex LLC, Cy Sweeterman Inc., Dickman Supply, Hometown Opportunity, Hulsman Automotive, Park National Bank, SecureCom, and St. Henry Bank. Time for our starting lineup, sponsored by Emerson Copeland. And starting out for the Anna Rockets, it will be number 2, Carter Siegel, a 6'2" senior. Also number 4, Mason Carey, a 6'1" junior. Number 12, Trey Heitkamp, a 6'1" junior. Number 24, Evan Myers, a 6'1" sophomore. And number 32, Hayden Hulskamp, a 6'2" senior. Again, for the Anna Rockets, Carter Siegel, Mason Carey, Trey Heitkamp, Evan Myers, and Hayden Hulskamp. Now next is the Russia Raiders, and they will start number 2, Zane Shappy, a 5'10" senior. He's averaging 7.3 points per game. Next is number 12, Hayden Quinter, a 6'1" junior, averaging a team best 15.1 points per game. And you have number 13, Braden Monin, a 6'2" junior, averaging 7.7 points per game. Up next is number 24, Braylon Cordonier, a 6'3" sophomore, averaging 10.6 points per game. And finally, number 34, Xavier Flippo, a 6' senior, averaging 5.1 points per game. Again, for the Raiders, Hayden Quinter, Braylon Cordonier, Braden Monin, Zane Shappy, and Xavier Flippo. Raiders, of course, are led by interim head coach Spencer Cordonier. who has a record this season of 15-1 overall, 7-1 in the SCAL. And for the Anna Rockets, their head coach, as we mentioned in our pregame, Nathan Barhorse, who is in his 11th season overall. He's got a record this year of 7-10 overall and 4-6 in the SCAL. So both teams out on the floor. Russia in their home whites with gold numbers, and for the Anna Rockets in their road green with white numerals at center circle. For the jump ball, for the Rockets, it'll be Trey Highcamp. For the Russia Raiders, will be Hayden Quinter, and Anna controls the tip, and they will get things started as Mason Carey will set up this offense for the Rockets. Gets it out to Trey Highcamp. He picked up by a couple Raiders and almost a Rockets turnover. A tie-up with Braden Monnet and Carter Siegel, and the Russia Raiders will get that after the Rockets got the tip. Tanya, have talked about it all season. Braden Monnet, probably one of the better defensive players in this league.
He's impressed me, that is for sure. I want to believe it was the game against Willard, and he was guarding their best player, who was phenomenal, and he got it done. In addition to not playing just defense, but he scores too.
Speaking of scoring, there's Hayden Quinter averaging a team best 15.1 per game. He gets the first bucket of the night at the 7.5-minute mark. Russia on top 2-0. Tanya, let's talk about our Keyhole Pizza keys of the game. If you're the Anna Rockets, what's your keys of the game?
For the Rockets, they need to slow the Raiders down and control the tempo of the game. Kind of like Jackson Center likes to do. Likes to slow things down and get the Raiders not running so much. They need to play solid defense across the board, not just focus on one or two players. Because as we know, the Raiders anybody can score on any given night. So you never know who you're going to get scoring out of that evening.
And scoring there will be Braylon Cordonier, who gets the stick back. Cordonier averaging a second best 10.6 per game, right behind Hayden Quinter. And Raiders get the Rockets turnover, and Zane Shappy's going to get involved in the scoring. So he gets a bucket, and Russia on top 6-0 at the 6:46 mark. And it looks like Coach Nathan Barhorse wants a precision strip timeout. We'll take it with him. Russia leads Anna 6-0.
CarriageWorks has expanded and now can hold up to 25 cars in our service bay. CarriageWorks thrives on customer satisfaction. We accomplish that by providing top-of-the-line technology. CarriageWorks now uses a laser beam system to measure down to the millimeter of factory specs to better service you and get you back on the road. CarriageWorks has a brand new top-of-the-line paint booth that uses waterborne paint. There's no job too big or too small for CarriageWorks. We're certified collision specialists. Come in and see us today.
Ohio Means Jobs Auglaize County has a job for you. Grand Lake Health System has over 800 employees. Included is Joint Township District Memorial Hospital and multiple physician practices. And we're now hiring a variety of positions that fit all education and skill levels. Plus, you'll get a great benefit package offered to both full and part-time workers. Join this rewarding career and help your community in the process. Contact Ohio Means Jobs Auglaize County for all your employment needs.
Russia comes out on top early here in the Claire Cinevo Gymnasium, leading the Anna Rockets 6-0. Tanya, we talked about our Keyhole Pizza keys of the game for the Anna Rockets. What if you're the Russia Raiders?
For the Raiders, they need to continue with the good ball movement that they have and control the tempo of the game for themselves. They need to make sure they keep Siegel and Dosek from getting some open looks. They need to put a lot of pressure on their guards, as we've seen right here where the Raiders have gone off and scored 6 points.
Those are our keys of the game, sponsored by Keyhole Pizza. And up on the First National Bank Think First scoreboard, Russia leading 6-0. Rockets with the ball as Mason Carey having all kinds of problem with that Raider D. Hands it off to Hayden Hulskamp. Now with it, Evan Myers being guarded by Hayden Quinter. Russia with the first 6 points of the game. Hayden Quinter, Braylon Cordonier, and Zane Shappy back-to-back baskets. Rockets trying to get involved in the scoring, and a baseline jumper from Trey Highcamp's no good, but Hayden Hulskamp gets the board and the stick back, just what the Rockets needed coming out of that timeout.
Absolutely. That was an opportunity they were not going to miss at that time.
So Zane Shappy controlling the offense for Russia, gets it off to Xavier Flippa, who kicks it out to Braden Monnet behind the arc. The sophomore Braylon Cordonier now working against Hulskamp with it. He gets in the paint, and a fadeaway by Cordonier is no good. Tough shot there, and on the break, Myers misses the layup. Russia picking up the ball, and Anna missing an opportunity to score.
Their matchup size-wise is 1-for-1. Nobody's overtaking the size on the inside game. we'll see how the Rockets can perform, making post moves and making things happen when they get the ball underneath.
Zane Shappy with a long three. That's too hard, and it's going to be a whistle and a foul. That one's going to go
tangle.
A little tangle on that one. That's going to go on the Raiders, picking up that foul. And a substitution as Russia will bring in 6'5" junior Felix Francis, as well as 6'1" sophomore Vince Borchers. And pretty typical to see Coach Cordonier make these substitutions. Always seems to bring Flippo and Chappie out and bring those two, the junior and the sophomore.
It seems to work for them. It doesn't work for everybody. Where'd that end up at?
About 5 rows deep in the crowd.
Anyways, it seems to work for them, and they have. Again, this is not a selfish team, and they truly play together as a team, and that kind of seems the rotation.
So Russia inbounding it at the scorer's table as Vince Borchers gets that ball, and lucky not to get a over and back violation.
That was a little close.
Cordonier with the ball, now working against Hulskamp in the paint. Was in there earlier, attempted a tough shot that he just missed. Does have 2 points already in the game. Quinter now with it, getting locked up by Carter Siegel. Kicks it out to Braden Monin. Monin working against Evan Myers, and Monin all alone for the layup. So Braden Monin, the 4th different Raider to score.
That's where they're dangerous, is they're a very hard matchup for a lot of teams. You know, we talk about size-wise.
A tie up on the floor, and thought maybe they were going to say Coach Cordonier. Okay, we got to.
Kind of jumped on his back. That was.
So the second team foul on Russia.
Coach don't agree, but I think that was a good call.
That one went on Braylon Cordonier. 2 team fouls for Russia, none so far for the Rockets. Rockets inbound the ball. Carey with it, working against Braden Monin.
Hulskamp and Francis is going to be a good matchup because Francis has got the size, Hulskamp's got the beef, and so we'll see how this works out.
And Francis does have about 3 inches on Hulskamp, but very physical, and an air ball by the Rockets. Ball knocked around, going to go out of bounds. Looks like the Rockets are going to keep it, according to official Kevin Beckstead. So 4:24 to play here in the first quarter. Russia on top, 8-2. Mason Carey, the 6'1" junior, will inbound it as Rockets get in their set. Carey getting it down low to Trey Highcamp. Highcamp's shot is no good. Nice defense there by Russia. Altering that shot, we get a whistle though and a foul. This one's going to go on the Rockets. That one will go on Highcamp. So the first team foul for the Rockets goes to Trey Highcamp. Highcamp, in their previous game against Howson on Tuesday, had 11 points. Yet to score here tonight so far, the only 2 points by Hayden Hulskamp, who has held scoreless in that Howson game. Raiders coming off a win as well over Howson. Their game was last Friday, so the Raiders haven't played in a week. And coming off that Tuesday game. But so far, so good if you're a Russia Raider fan. And tough shot down there by Cordonier, who's getting a lot of physicality from the Rockets. Russia does retain possession of the ball now as Borchers now working against Dosak. Floater in the lane. Nice move there by Vince Borchers. He's the 5th different Raider to score.
He's got a great dribble penetration. If he can get around and get around that defender, that's where the problem with Jackson Center was, is they made it so difficult for you to get around him, but we haven't seen defense like that yet, so.
Well, Hayden Hulskamp doesn't make anything look difficult. He's got all 5 points for the Rockets, including that 3-point bomb that he just hit. Underneath with it, Borchers too hard off the glass, gets him back, and Vince Borchers has back-to-back bucket for the Raiders, puts them up 12-5. Siegel down low with Cordonier. Cordonier wouldn't let him shoot. Nice defense by the sophomore. Felix Francis, the junior, with it. Up and off the glass. Nice move by Francis. Russia distributing the scoring very well tonight. This is a team that has a lot of players that can score.
We talked about this. This is an exciting group of boys that just get it done, and you never know who's going to score.
Vince Borchers leading the team with 4 points.
Nice move.
Besides that, there's 5 other players with buckets. And we're going to get a jump ball. Possession arrow is going to favor the Rockets. They will keep it. Substitutions now for the Raiders. Zane Shappy back in the ball game. And for the first time, we'll see Colby Monin, a 6'3" senior. Russia with 4 seniors on the team. Xavier Flippo back into the game, as well as Cordonier Mon and Braden Mon and Hayden Quinter all on the bench.
Well, in this situation, I'm assuming Xavier Flippo is the third guard, or we're playing a 3-forward rotation with Francis and Monin and Flippo in the...
Now Colby Monin, the biggest Raider out there at 6'3", or excuse me, Felix Francis out there at 6'5". So Russia with a little bit of size out there right now as they lead this ball game 14-5, getting close to the 2-minute mark here in this first quarter. Colby Monin with the ball, cross-court pass to Francis, kicks it out to Borchers, who has a couple buckets already, and he just misses that shot. Gets his own rebound, though. Vince Borchers playing very well on a kick ball by the Rockets.
One thing I've seen from Felix Francis lately is his dribble penetration, and we didn't see that early on in his game this year, but he's starting to do that more, so maybe he's the third guard. But it's exciting to see him add that aspect of his game to the Raiders' play.
Evan Myers back in the ball game. Also on the floor for the Rockets is Derek Madden, who came off the bench. He's a 6'3" junior, provides some good size for Coach Barhorse. Shappy almost turns the ball over. She rotating around the perimeter, down low. Monin on that left block. Nice pass to Francis. We're going to get a whistle and a travel by Felix Francis, who drug that pivot foot.
Colby Monin does a nice job. When you see him up at the elbow, they can use him for a screen. And then he's floating down, dropping down on the block, trying to make a move himself. But that's a great screen to use for him. He gives some quality minutes to give somebody else maybe a starter a break.
Rockets trying to find somebody else that can score beside Hayden Hulskamp, who has all 5 of Anna's points. In that Houston game, Drew Dosek actually led the scoring with 14. One of 2 starters returning from last year, him and Hulskamp. And an off-balance shot there by Mason Carey is no good. Raiders with the ball as Francis outmuscles a defender. Shappy thinks about a 3, decides to go in the paint. Borchers is going to take a 3, and he nails it. Vince Borchers, red hot now.
I want to clap for that kid, because that's one thing he has started to look. He's at least looking to shoot, and he says, I'm not a very good shooter. So he told my daughter, and I said, but you got to look. You got to take a shot. So he's getting a little bit more brave and taking some shots, and that paid off.
It does pay off. He's got 7 points to lead all scorers, and we're in a precision strip timeout. We'll remind our viewers that NKTelco Sports and its sponsors are pleased to bring you replays of tonight's high school varsity basketball action on NKTelco Channel 3 or in HD on Channel 503. Replays of tonight's game will be on Wednesday, February 15th at 7 p.m. and Sunday, February 19th at 1 p.m. You can also watch more games on demand through YouTube, Facebook, and at nktelco.com/sports. You want to stick around for our halftime report, Tanya and I will have all your first half numbers, and that is, we still got to get the first quarter out of the way, though. So coming out of the precision strip timeout.
Well, we've had 2 timeouts and not a lot of fouls. So it's kind of been a slow-moving, just let them go, which is fun. Ooh.
And a little earlier, we had a junior varsity contest, in case you missed that one. The Anna Rockets picked up the win in that one, 53-47. Rockets were led by Alex Shappy with 16 points, and Russia was led by Dominic Francis with 11. Rockets with the ball. Trailing here 17-5. Down low with it is Drew Madden. Madden's turnaround in the lane, and Drew Madden, the 6'3" junior, gets the first bucket from someone not named Hayden Hulskamp. Cut the Raider lead back to 10.
I think that's where they've struggled a little bit this year, is trying, like we talked about, trying to find the identity, where they're going to get the points at, where they're going to get the leader at.
And Xavier
right
Flippo.
now we'll see in Hulskamp, so we'll see.
Xavier Flippo heading to the free throw line. Also in the game for Russia is Ross Fissinger, a 5'11" senior. Ross averaging a little over 3 points per game. Xavier Flippo averaging a little over 5 points per game. And the 4-year starter gets the first free throw. 7 different Raiders have scored, and Colby Mono will head to the bench as Hayden Quinter comes back in the ball game. Xavier Flippo, normally a very good free throw shooter, trying to make it 2 for 2, and he does. As Francis will come back into the ball game, and Flippo will get a rest. Also Braden Monin into the ball game. We've got 6 different Raiders on the floor right now. No, Vince Borcher's heading to the bench.
They had that problem in the JV game, too.
The Varsity had that problem the last time I was here. Tried to play with 6 and got whistled for a technical.
You know.
So 30 seconds to play in the first quarter. Russia the 12-point lead. Rockets with the ball. Evan Myers gets it to Dosek. In the corner, Madden on top. Carey picked up by Braden Monin. Heitkamp working with it now, going up and over Shappy. Can't get it to go. Dosek's going to pick it up, though. Kicks it out, and the baseline jumper from Madden is no good. Rebound by Quinter, and with 6 seconds, he's going to get it out to Fissinger, who's going to take a 3, and he nails it. So Ross Fissinger with a 3-pointer at the horn. Ruscia's going to take a 22-7 lead into the second quarter. We'll take a break. You're listening to high school boys basketball on NKTelco Sports.
We are here and here and here. Minster Bank is everywhere, providing every banking service that you need to keep your financial life in order. Whether you are on the go or stopping by one of our branches, Minster Bank is here for you. We proudly support the communities where you live. Minster Bank, helping people achieve financial success.
Unpack your potential with a career at Pratt Industries. Working at Pratt Industries is more than a job. It's a sustainable career.
Pratt Industries to me is a job. It's my career. It's the way I put food on my table, but I love what I do.
We offer competitive pay, excellent benefits, and opportunities for career advancement. To apply, visit careers.prattindustries.com.
So Russia leads Anna after 1 quarter of play, 22-7. Tanya, we said it already, but this Raider team has a lot of players that can score. 8 different Raiders scored in that first quarter.
They're just dangerous for teams. And as we've witnessed, you said that, we have 8 different Raiders that have scored in this first half. So who do you guard? You can't stand and play a zone. I guess you just you're going to try to have to, my theory would be to try to do some trapping, to do something fancy to put some pressure on their guards. I don't know if that's Nate Barhorse's philosophy or not, but in that scenario, you would try to take it away before you get to that point. But
and Zane Shappy gets the second quarter scoring started for Russia. He now has 4, and Russia right now just dominating this game 24-7. And a turnover by the Rockets. Hayden Quinter on his way to the bucket. He gets an easy layup. Quinter now with 4.
The Raiders are making it extremely difficult for the Rockets. If they can get through and get dribble penetration and get to the basket, but for their guard play, it's been very difficult. Everything's been within probably 5 feet, 5-6 feet of the basket that they're shooting.
This is a Anna team that had a 3-game win streak going. And as you said, Tanya, in our pregame, we're going to get another precision strip timeout. We'll stay right here. Anna, they've got a tough remaining schedule, regular season coming up.
Yeah, the first game after this Raiders game tonight is against Miami East Vikings, who, as you indicated, is number 1 in Division III right now, who I think is going to be a Raider opponent next year, of what I'm hearing, which should be a fun matchup because they're young as well. But yeah, then they're going to play Marion Local, who's number 8 in Division IV.
Yeah.
They're going to meet up with Versailles, who's always a tough opponent. One more. Forget. Botkins, who creates havoc. So I don't envy them. Their practices aren't going to be any fun the next 2 weeks. But it's going to make them that much tougher for tournament play because, Division III, they're starting to see teams down. Arcanum, they're seeing Tri-Village. They're going to see teams like that who are in Division III. So that's preparing them for them. So that's great for them. Maybe they'll surprise some people.
The Raiders with the ball out of the precision strip timeout, and it's 26-7 on the First National Bank Think First scoreboard. Russia with the ball, trying to get down low to Quinter, and Quinter, as Dosek falls down, gets the layup from the left block. Hayden Quinter with back-to-back buckets for Russia. In the lane with it, Dosek's going to get whistled for a travel. Another Anna turnover. Substitution, Braylon Cordonier back into the game, as well as Vince Borchers, Zane Shappy, and Ross Fissinger heading to the bench. Felix Francis also heading to the bench, and
they've got fresh legs all the time. That's where they wear teams down, and we saw it against Willard. Willard didn't sub anybody. I think maybe once they had a sub, but come third quarter, they just wear people down because they can go that deep on their bench.
Russia has gone 9 deep so far, expecting to see at some point Benjamin York, who's got a lot of playing time here recently as well. So Russia can go 10 deep pretty easy. And a tie-up and a whistle. Looks like a foul. See if that one goes on. That one's going to go on Drew Dosek. That will be the 3rd team foul for the Rockets versus just 2 for Russia. Xavier Flippo to inbound it underneath the Raiders basket. And Russia typically likes to lob it in, though he gets it into Borchers in the corner this time. Being guarded over there by Myers in the corner. Cordonier's going to take a 3. Just misses that one as it rattles out. Braylon Cordonier, one of those guys that he's a fairly big kid, but can shoot from outside or inside as Hayden Quinter makes the basket.
Right. Between Hayden and Braylon, one time they're posting up down on the block, and the next time they're out 3, you don't know. It'll be interesting when they play Marion Local and they have a 6'9" kid guarding a guy in the corner because he's now out there, and then the next thing you know, he's on the block. So that'll be an interesting matchup. Marion Local is an interesting matchup for everybody with their size.
And Braden Monin gets the 3rd 3-pointer of the game for the Russia Raiders, and another precision strip timeout for Coach Nathan Barhorse. It's a full. We'll take it with hhim. Russia leads Anna 33-7.
Are you looking for a rewarding career? Lincoln Electric Automation in Coldwater and Fort Loramie supplies top-of-the-line automation systems to manufacturers. Lincoln Electric Automation routinely develops its team through hiring and by offering advanced technical training. We understand that every employee matters, and every role contributes to the success of our business. We offer advancement opportunities, competitive wages, and benefit packages. Visit LincolnElectric.com and get on track to a better career and a better future.
New Knoxville Supply Company, the supply source for residential, commercial, and industrial jobs. We specialize in plumbing products from many name brands, electrical products from replacing a light switch to rewiring an entire house, heating, air conditioning, and geothermal products, sheet metal ductwork, installations, and service. We are now housing more inventory, so all the hardware items you need to complete the job are available right away. New Knoxville Supply. Stop in, call, or check us out online at newknoxvillesupply.com.
If you listen to our NKTelco pregame, you heard that our keys of the game were sponsored by Keel Pizza. Our starting lineup sponsored by Emerson Copeland. The scoreboard tonight sponsored by First National Bank. This timeout courtesy of Precision Strip. The Russia Live View sponsor you see there on your screen is Jewelry Barn. And at the end of this ball game, we'll have our NKTelco player of the game. Rockets with the ball, trailing 33-7. Highcamp with it, kicks it out to Siegel. Carter Siegel, one of the 3 seniors for the Rockets, along with Drew Dosek and Hayden Hulskamp. Russia just continues to apply that defensive pressure, and Dosek with the ball, having problems penetrating the lane. He gets tied up and going to get whistled for a travel. Again, courtesy of the Russia defense, or that's what caused that turnover.
I didn't see that one coming. I thought maybe we were going to have a tie-up there, but surprised me a little bit.
Borchers walks it across the center circle, being guarded by Highcamp. Picks up his dribble, gets it out to Monin, who just hit a 3 a little earlier. The 3rd 3 for Russia of the ball game. Hayden Quinter going to get whistled for a travel. And we talked about Russia being able to shoot the 3 ball. At one point, I thought maybe the only guy that wouldn't shoot the 3 ball for Russia was 6'5" junior Felix Francis. He hit one against Houston on last Friday.
He's becoming more dangerous too, and I think he's just becoming more confident in his game. The more and more, just like anybody, the more and more you do something, the more confident you become in it. And he's become a huge asset to these Raiders, and I've enjoyed watching him a lot. He's developed a lot, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for him.
Carter Siegel's going to take a 3, and he hits it. So a couple threes for the Rockets. Hayden Hulskamp hit one back a little earlier, and this time Carter Siegel gets one. And a reverse by Cordonier's no good, but that's because he got fouled. So Braylon Cordonier will head to the free throw line. As we said earlier, Cordonier, the 2nd leading scorer on this team at 10.6 per game, had 9 points in that game last Friday versus Houston, and a lot of different Raiders scored in that one. For Cordiner at the line for 2 and makes the first one look easy. He's now got 3 in substitutions now as Colby Monin comes back into the game, and Benjamin York, who we mentioned earlier, makes his first appearance. York, a 6'3" sophomore, actually had 10 points in that junior varsity game a little earlier. He has a tendency to split his quarters between both games.
As he gets more confident as well, I think you're going to see him in some tournament run, because if the Raiders get into some foul trouble, they may need him, because again, you never know who's going to be on, who's going to be off. So the more assets you have to use, the better off you'll be.
Hershey right now from the free throw line, perfect 4 for 4. Flippo hit a couple in the first quarter. Cordiner with 2 in a row there. A whistle and a foul. This one's going to go, it looks like, on York. Benjamin York no sooner gets in the game, picks up a foul.
He tends to take on a big defensive assignment too when he enters the game. So
he's got those long arms there.
Yep.
Kind of like Braden Monin.
He gives Braden a break, because Braden needs a break sometimes.
Hershey up 35-10 as we're halfway through this second quarter now. Dosek with the ball, working against Braden Monin. Hulskamp now with it, hands it off to Siegel. Siegel working against Vince Borchers. On top to Evan Myers. Dosek with it again, looking for a screen for Myers. Spin move in the lane, gets it over to Alex Shappy. And that ball's going to go out of bounds. Alex Shappy, who was in the junior varsity game, led the scores in that junior varsity game with 16. He's a 6'2" sophomore. Didn't see him sneak onto the floor there.
Hulskamp has had some really nice seals underneath trying to get the ball, and the Raider defenders are just making it difficult for them to see him. He's been open several times.
Hulskamp going to shoot the 3. He hit one in the first quarter, misses that one. Vince Borchers with the rebound. His team up 25 points. Gets it out to Monin. Monin gets into the paint. Picks up his dribble. Nice pass down low to Colby Monin. So 2 Monins, Braden Monin and Colby Monin. Rebound from York. Gets to Borchers. Borchers' shot is no good, but he gets fouled. He'll head to the free throw line. Vince Borchers, averaging 3.2 points per game, already has 7, all of those coming in the first quarter. Did have 5 in that Houston win. And if you're wondering about Vince Borchers' season high, it is 12. He scored that against Anna the last time. So Vince Borchers playing very well against the Rockets.
He must have their number.
Hershey with a substitution as Braden Monin heads to the bench. Ross Fissinger back into the game. And for the Rockets, they will bring in Mason Carey and send Drew Dosek to the bench.
The referees are making sure they're counting, because the Rockets had 6 players too. So they're starting to pay attention.
Borchers misses the front end. I thought that was a 2-shot foul, but apparently just a 1-and-1. Hershey will get one more substitution in as Felix Francis will now enter, and Braylon Cordiner heads to the bench. I think that was the first free throw Hershey missed tonight.
Yes. I would have thought that was a 2-shot. I didn't even think about it. That would have been a 2-shot in my book.
Team fouls right now. Rockets with 5, Raiders with 4. We're at the 2:50 mark here of this second quarter. Shappy with a 3 on the way. And Alex Shappy, who had a great JV game in that victory, gets a 3-pointer. That is the 3rd 3 for the Rockets.
Maybe he'll add a spark. Maybe they'll get something going here.
Yeah, just 2 buckets for the Rockets in the second quarter, both those from behind the arc. And they definitely need to get something going to get back into this ball game. We talked about the pregame. The Rockets trying to find an identity here. Graduated guys like Player of the Year McCain Finkenbein, Zach Ambus was on this team last year, Grant Alberts, Bryce Cobb, a lot of good play. Only returned the 2 starters in Hulskamp and Drew Dosek. So it's taken a majority of the season here.
Yes.
But Rockets probably hoping to get things together for tournament. You know, just a 4-6 record in the league right now.
Right. When you can score, you're going to break into this lineup and you're going to try to make something happen. And Hulskamp does that, but he needs a break every once in a while. And that's what they're trying to find right now with Shappy, I believe. And, when he score on the JV, and we see that in Benjamin York, he makes a huge impact offensively on the JV team. So let's give him a shot and see what happens.
Fissinger going to take a 3, hit one earlier, and he gets another one. So Ross Fissinger 2 for 2 from behind the arc. He now has 6 points. That is the 4th 3-pointer for Hershey in this first half. Mason Carey with the ball, rotates it over to Drew Madden. Alex Shappy with it. Down low. Nice pass. Down low to Madden. Derek Madden, and he gets fouled by a Raider.
Trying to trap him. He got through the trap and found the open man.
Fissinger's going to pick up the foul on that one, so both teams knotted up at team fouls with 5 each. At the free throw line will be Derek Madden. 2 points so far on the night. Misses the first attempt. Colby Mana will head to the bench as Xavier Flippo back in the ball game. Xavier Flippo, a starter from game 1 of his freshman year. His first assignment was to guard Aiden Reichert, a 2-time player of the year.
Yes.
For the Tigers, and Madden misses both.
That was like David and Goliath. I mean, the difference in their body type. Xavier, being the little freshman that he is, and I don't know that he's grown any since then, but yeah, he had a huge task then, and he's made a huge impact on Raider basketball for 4 years.
And his roles kind of changed. He was more of a forward post player, whatever you want to call him, and now turned into more of a guard.
He'll do whatever you ask him to do. He is the flexible player that every coach is happy to take on.
Flippo picks up the bucket on that Raider possession. Rockets with the ball. They trail 40-13. 1 minute to go until halftime. Trey Heitkamp with it. Stops on that block. A tough shot as he fades away. No good. Rebound by Francis. Raiders hoping to add to this lead as Vince Borchers looks to coach Spencer Cordonier for a little instruction. Gets a screen by Flippo. Trying to use the pick and roll, but Flippo down low trying to post up against Mason Carey. Does get it. Kicks it out to Borchers, to Francis. Francis in the lane, lose it. No, he gets fouled. That one's going to go on Trey Heitkamp.
One thing the guards keep doing here is they're coming off a screen and then they're stopping. They're picking up their dribble and now they're lost. They don't have, the roller is not open. So now they're trying to figure out what to do. They're losing their dribble, and maybe that's something they'll talk about at halftime.
Those are fundamentals you teach early here at Russia.
Yeah.
The pick and roll, and Raiders with the ball. 26 seconds to go until halftime. Fissinger in the corner being guarded by Shappy. Picks up his dribble, trying to find a teammate, gets it to Flippo, working against Carter Siegel. Borchers now with it, 15 seconds. He's being guarded by Mason Carey at the center circle. Trying to get a screen. He does get it from Flippo. In the lane, tough shot. Rebound by Carey. Carey going to try to get one up at the horn. No good, and a whistle. I think we're going to get a foul here before the halftime buzzer. He's going to get 3 shots, Tanya. Not something you wanted to see if you're Coach Spencer Cordonier.
No, that's a little disappointing, but you're in the moment and things are moving, and he wasn't that. I mean, that was actually not a bad shot. We've seen shots further out. It's unfortunate for the Raiders that happened. That's all I can say for that.
Unfortunate that goes on your leading scorer, and Hayden Quinter, who gets his second foul. So 3 shots by Mason Carey. He gets the first. We'll watch him take a couple more before our halftime break. One more for the 6'1" junior. And that's how you go into the locker room at halftime. So
some momentum.
So we'll take our halftime break as Russia leads Anna 40-16. We'll be back in a few minutes with your halftime report. You're listening to high school boys basketball on NKTelco Sports.
Whether you do business from a corner store or a corner office, there is one asset your business cannot do without: the internet. Everything from sales and marketing, training and shipping, PR, HR, and R&D, your business relies on a fast, reliable, and secure connection. And now, it's more important than ever to partner with an internet provider you can trust. Get Flight Fiber for Business, backed by local tech support from NKTelco. Call today.
Hi, I'm Mallory. My grandpa's been making the world's worst pizza for 30 years. That doesn't look like the world's worst pizza. Grandpa, I know why they call you Chunky Bob. It's because you use chunky ingredients on your pizza.
Of course, it's not because I'm fat.
Grandpa, this is the world's best pizza. Keyhole Pizza, come check Grandpa out.
Dine in or carry out.
Together, we are family, working safely for our loved ones.
We are problem solvers who challenge the status quo and drive improvement.
We care about our customer relationships.
We stay true to our values, caring and respecting one another.
We embrace change as we journey through our career.
We are Precision Strip, the world's leading processor of rolled steel and aluminum.
Precision Strip, doing the exceptional.
At Wilson Health, we're extending care beyond the walls of the hospital, with resources designed to keep you in charge of your health.
Our independence and connection to the community are unique in a world where big healthcare strives to act like corporations.
Our tools may be the same, but we are different.
We're neighbors, friends, and family who truly care about the people who live here.
We call it caring without limits, and it's just the beginning of a whole new Wilson Health.
It's halftime here at Russi's Claire C. Naveau Gymnasium, where the Raiders are leading the Anna Rockets 40-16. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors that made this game possible, and that's Keyhole Pizza, First National Bank, Precision Strip, Emerson Copeland, Carriage Works, Grand Lake Health, Kogi Plumbing and Heating, Lincoln Electric Automation, Minster Bank, Pratt Industries, New Knoxville Supply, Wagner's IGA, Wilson Health, Winners Meats, Jewelry Barn, and NKTelco. My name is Craig Fissinger with my broadcast partner tonight, Tanya Hammonds. And Tanya, not the game we expected tonight.
No, we anticipated a much closer game, maybe within 10, something along those lines. But the Anna Rockets, surely this second half are gonna come out and look to score. But the Raiders have made it so difficult for them. Like we talked about, it's hard for their guards to get the ball inside, and everything they're shooting is within 5-6 feet. They had a 3 here and a 3 there, but nothing that takes your breath away. So we'll see. Hopefully for the Raiders, they can continue with their tempo and their dribble penetration. They're keeping the floor spread really well, and everybody's making a contribution tonight.
I only hope the Anna Rockets can claw their way back into this second half. Rushi led after one quarter 22-7. In that second quarter, the Raiders outscored the Rockets 18-9, again for a halftime score of 40-16, leading the Raiders. Actually, 8 different Raiders have scored. Leading the way, it's Hayden Quinter with 8 points. Next, you got Vince Borchers with 7 points. Ross Fissinger is third with 6 points, and then we got 3 Raiders with 4 points each. That's Braylon Cordonier, Zane Shappy, and Xavier Flippo. Finally, you've got Felix Francis with 2 points. As we said, Tanya, a lot of Raiders capable of scoring at any given moment.
Yes, they have a hot hand, and depending on the tempo of the game and the physicality of the game depends on who's going to score that night. So if you've got your inside game as they're banging underneath, you may see more out of Hayden Quinter or Zane Shappy. When they don't have as big a guy, now you're going to see Braylon Cordonier or, Felix Francis maybe step up, or Xavier Flippo with some points. So, again, it's the physicality of who you're playing in the tempo of the game, in my opinion.
And one more time for Rushi, it's Hayden Quinter with 8 points, Vince Borchers with 7, Ross Fissinger with 6, Braden Monin with 5, Braylon Cordonier with 4, Zane Shappy with 4, and Xavier Flippo with 4, and finally Felix Francis with 2. For the Anna Rockets, they are being led right now by Hayden Hulskamp with 5 points. All of those coming in the first quarter, the first 5 points of their for the Rockets. And then you've got 3 points each for Carter Siegel, Mason Carey, and Alex Shappy. Finally, 2 points for Derek Madden. One more time, Hayden Hulskamp with 5 points, 3 points for Carter Siegel, 3 points for Mason Carey, 3 points for Alex Shappy, and finally 2 points for Derek Madden. And hopefully our NKTelco viewers got a chance to see those cheerleaders perform at halftime, both the Rushi cheerleaders and Anna cheerleaders doing very well. I'll mention the Anna cheerleaders, Tanya, if you want to mention those Rushi Raider cheerleaders. For the Rockets, their varsity cheerleaders are Lily Howe, Bree Metzler, Brooke Pettis, Julia Pope, Marissa Smith, and Addie Wanamaker. The junior varsity cheerleaders are Zoe Gullett, Kinsley Meyer, Audrey Pranger, Katie Stewart, Avery Worley, and Kaylee Wood. The Rocket mascots are Ava Pettit and Taylor Klosterman, and their cheer advisor is Jackie Ward. And how about those Rushi Raider cheerleaders?
For the Raiders, for the varsity, there's Jillian Chapman, Abby Fisher, McKenna Hoying, Gracie McLennan, Annalise Magato, Anna Meyer, Grace Monin, and Mackenzie Rose. Their JV squad consists of Emma Daypor, Alex Garkey, Ella Flippo, Camille Saunders, Abby Sherman, Savannah Spradlin, and they're led by Mrs. Brandy Flippo.
And tonight, our keys of the game and the pregame are sponsored by Keel Pizza. The scoreboard sponsor is First National Bank. Timeouts by Precision Strip. Starting lineup came to you from Emerson Copeland. Russia Live View sponsor is Jewelry Barn. And our NKTelco player of the game at the conclusion of this contest will come from NKTelco. So Rockets with the ball and turn it over right away. Rockets starting with Carter Siegel, Mason Carey, Trey Heitkamp, Evan Myers, and Hayden Yuleskamp. Raiders with the ball, and missed shot attempt there by Cordonier goes out of bounds. And to the Rockets, Raiders will come out with Hayden Quinter, Braylon Cordonier, Braden Monin, Zane Shappy, and Xavier Flippo. The Rockets will inbound in front of the Raider bench. Coach Spencer Cordonier, as I said in the pregame, 70-20 in his 4 seasons, a 78% win percentage, the highest win percentage in Russia school history. And Coach Cordonier having a great season and filling in for a great coach.
Is that girls and boys percentage?
That's just the boys. He did the boys.
Good. We got to look at girls, because if he's beating his dad, that'd make Christmas dinner a lot of fun.
Well, yeah,
but
those boys season from 15 to 18.
Right. He stepped up and had to fill some pretty big shoes, and Coach Borchers, who we all miss dearly. But he's done what he can and used the momentum and what David started. Spence had started, then David then taken over, and then now he's back. So they kind of fed off each other, and being great friends and being great coaches and coached together for so long, it was easy for him to fill in and try to finish what Dave started.
And Mason Carey going to get whistled for the carry there on the ball. And that last bucket by the Rockets was by Carter Siegel, who now has 2 3-pointers in the ball game for 6 total points.
Siegel can be very dangerous, so the Raiders really got to know where he's at, and so he doesn't cut loose and cut into this lead.
They now match Russia with 3-pointers. Both teams with 4 threes in the ball game. Vince Borchers in the ball game. Gets it out to Cordonier. Cordonier with a nice floater from 10 foot. Braylon Cordonier now has 6 points. He gets the Raiders scoring started here in the second half.
So Zane Shappy's on the bench. And
Shappy didn't come out?
And no, Shappy is sitting on the bench with a jacket on. During the first quarter, when he came out, he left the bench. So I wonder if maybe he's sick or he's got an injury that we don't know about. But we do have Vince Borchers out there right now. But he is sitting down there on the bench, but he is in a jacket.
Trey Heitkamp with that last bucket for the Rockets.
Nice move and pass.
Flippo with a nice assist from Quinter. Gets the bucket. Xavier Flippo now with 6 points. And I've talked about it all season. Vince Borchers, possibly the future point guard when Zane Shappy graduates after this season. You've also got Grosjean on the junior varsity there. Jackson Grosjean, very good ball handler. It'll be interesting to see who takes over that role after Zane Shappy's done it for basically 4 years.
Right. Those two are very interchangeable. They both bring different aspects to the game. I believe Jackson has a better dribble penetration where he can get in a little. He's got that quicker step and he can get around. But I think Vince, because he is just a little taller, can see a little bit better what can make a difference. So they're going to be great point guards, and whoever's on that night's going to play. They'll be a lot of fun. Jackson is exciting to watch, so I'm thrilled for him.
Well, Zane and Vince both share that role right now, so there's no reason that Vince and Jackson won't share that role next year.
Sure.
Substitution for the Raiders as Felix Francis in the ball game. Xavier Flippo heads to the bench. Russia up by 23 points here in this third quarter. Borchers getting it down low to Francis, working against Heitkamp. Back to Borchers. He's going to take a three. And just off the iron, bounces around. Thought maybe that would fall. Cleaning it up, though, is Braden Monin, who had 5 at halftime. He now has 7. Russia outscoring Anna 6-5 in this third quarter. Heitkamp up and off the glass. So Trey Heitkamp has a couple buckets here in this third quarter. He's got 4 for the game.
One thing you've seen from Braden Monin, I believe, since early on, didn't see it early on, but I believe his physicality is picked up. He's gotten, again, more confident in his game, and you can see him making power moves towards the basket, which is exciting for him because you're normally used to seeing him stand behind and shoot the three. But you're starting to see more of a power move to the basket. So he's adding different aspects of his game.
For the Rockets, Alex Shappy will enter for Evan Myers. And you can't help but notice that a lot of these players out here, too, Tanya, are players that were on that state baseball championship back in the spring, and you got to think that success has carried over to basketball as well.
It feeds off of itself, and that's where this group is going to be successful, is because they know what that feels like. There's not many people that know that feeling, and it brings confidence. And that's going to carry on to the baseball field in a couple months. So we're close to that, too. Hopefully far away, but...
Nice defense there by Felix Francis, who got the shot block and then altered the stick back attempt. A tie-up, a whistle, and we're going to get a Raider foul. That foul will go on Braden Monin, So he'll pick up the Raider foul. That will be the first team foul for Russia in this second half. Colby Monin will enter the ball game for Braylon Cordonier. And Mason Carey will inbound it underneath the Rocket basket. Lob down low to Dosek, and a nice lob and bucket. Drew Dosek gets the basket and the foul. Dosek, who had a team-leading 14 points in that win versus Houston on Tuesday, was held scoreless in the first half. He finally gets things going here in the second, Tanya.
That was a great move, and keep things simple, and I think that's what we're seeing tonight from both teams. There's nothing fancy. We're not throwing a lot of crazy defenses, a lot of trapping, a lot of different things. They're just playing straight-out, hard-fought basketball.
Rockets now outscoring the Raiders here in this third quarter, 10-8. A whistle, and I didn't see what the call was on that one.
He's going to call an offensive foul on that he threw his arm up into his neck, and he did.
Vince Borchers picking
Somebody
up
didn't
that
like
foul.
it down there, but I thought he did.
Referee Kevin Beckstead directs Alex Shappy in front of the Rocket bench to inbound it. Shappy gets it in the corner to Carter Siegel. Back to Shappy, on top to Dosek. Carey now with it, working against Monin. Baseline trying to get a Carey trying to pass that ball down underneath the basket. It goes off a Raider and out of bounds. Rockets trailing by 22 points here at the 3:19 mark of the third quarter.
Things are getting a little chippy in here right now.
Shappy with a shot fake, going to take the three, and he nails it. Nice shooting there by Alex Shappy. He's got a couple threes for 6 points.
He cut it to 19.
Rockets now with their fifth three and doing a good job here in this third quarter. Hershey coming out the third quarter here a little slow. Colby Monin down low, a nice shot by the senior as he gets one to roll in. Colby Monin now the ninth different Raider to score.
In that situation, they had to play out on Hayden Quinter because you don't know if he's going to shoot that three or not. And then he gets dribble penetration and dumps it off to Colby Monin. So that's where they're dangerous.
Drew Dosek now with 5 points in the quarter, all 5 of his points here tonight.
They've come
coming
alive.
In the third frame. And we get a whistle and another foul. This one going on the Rockets this time. Russia with 3 team fouls. Rockets will pick up their first one, and mass substitutions looks like for both teams. We're going to get a precision strip timeout before get those subs in. We'll take it with them. Russia leading Anna 50-31 on NKTelco Sports.
CarriageWorks has expanded and now can hold up to 25 cars in our service bay. CarriageWorks thrives on customer satisfaction. We accomplish that by providing top-of-the-line technology. CarriageWorks now uses a laser beam system to measure down to the millimeter of factory specs to better service you and get you back on the road. CarriageWorks has a brand new top-of-the-line paint booth that uses waterborne paint. There's no job too big or too small for CarriageWorks. We're certified collision specialists. Come in and see us today.
Ohio Means Jobs Auglaize County has a job for you. Grand Lake Health System has over 800 employees. Included is Joint Township District Memorial Hospital and multiple physician practices. And we're now hiring a variety of positions that fit all education and skill levels. Plus, you'll get a great benefit package offered to both full and part-time workers. Join this rewarding career and help your community in the process. Contact Ohio Means Jobs Auglaize County for all your employment needs.
I want to remind our viewers that NKTelco Sports and its sponsors are pleased to bring you replays of tonight's high school varsity basketball action on NKTelco Channel 3 or in HD on Channel 503. Replays of this game will be on Wednesday, February 15th at 7 p.m. and Sunday, February 19th at 1 p.m. You can also watch more games on demand through YouTube, Facebook, and at nktelco.com/sports. Tanya, I know our viewers can't see it, but Coach Cordonier getting pretty animated with his team down there.
He doesn't want a repeat of what happened at Fort Laramie. The Raiders came out in that first half and were on fire, and Fort Laramie Redskins inched their way back in, ended up with a double-digit win. But that's what we're starting to see right here. They can't stop doing what made them successful in the first half, and I think that's what he's trying to get his point across.
Raiders being outscored 15-10 in the third quarter. Rockets with the ball coming out of that precision strip timeout. Shappy gets it over to Carey. Carey trying to drive around Cordonier in the lane, kicks it out, goes off Hulscamp's hands and out of bounds. Turnover by the Rockets as Hulskamp couldn't hang on to that hot pass.
As Coach Don Cordonier always said, you can't get lackadaisical. Can't get lackadaisical. You got to keep going, doing what made you successful.
So Braylon Cordonier bringing the ball down the floor for the Raiders, hands it off to Quinter. Quinter spin move, and he throws up a air ball floater as Shappy's going to pick it up. 6'2" sophomore dribbling down the floor. He turns it over to Felix Francis. Actually turning it up on defense now. This time Quinter's going to bring it down, and Quinter, nice footwork against Carey, picks up his dribble. Fissinger
nice
back door up and off the glass. Nice assist by Aiden Quinter. And the recipient of that layup is Ross Fissinger, who now has 8.
Hayden can distribute the ball so well. He sees things, and it makes him very dangerous.
Rockets with the ball, trailing by 21. Myers with it out front, being guarded by Quinter. Looking for some options. Finally gets it over to Carey. Playing 23 feet from the basket. Challenging Cordonier. Gets in the paint, picks up his dribble, kicks it out. Myers is going to take a three. And that just rims around and pops right out. So Myers thought that ball was down.
I thought it was too.
Rolled around the rim and popped out. As the Rockets will send Drew Dosick into the game as Carter Siegel will take a seat.
I think one of the biggest things for the Raiders right now, too, is making sure that they're staying healthy at this point, because they're 5 games away from going to entering tournament play. And, you know, your 1 and 2 rounds tend to not be as good at teams. So you just got to stay healthy. And that they have this year, unlike the Raider girls. The Varsity boys Raiders have stayed healthy, and they got to keep doing that. And when you get into games where you're up 20, 25 points, sometimes that's where things happen. So hopefully we don't see anything like that in the next 5 games. But the games that they're going to have should be competitive games, so we shouldn't see that. Maybe with the exception of one, but.
So we're under a minute to play here in this third quarter. Rockets with the ball. Trying to get a bucket here before the third period ends. Shappy gets it in the corner to Myers. Myers driving baseline, stopped by Flippo. Shot off the rim, no good. Rebound, Vince Borchers with 30 seconds to play. Raiders now with it. Borchers gets it to Fissinger. He's being guarded by Dosick, trying to drive around Dosick, gets in the paint, kicks it out to Flippo. Flippo being guarded by Carey. Back to Fissinger in the corner. Gets it on top, looking for a teammate. Finally gets to Cordonier. Cordonier working against Hulskamp to Flippo. Flippo gets a screen from Cordonier, trying to dribble around, up and off the glass. Nice move, yeah, by Xavier Flippo, who gets the bucket and at the horn. Too late for Evan Myers.
Hulskamp was playing so tight on him and playing really good defense. That was a great possession there.
After 3 quarters of play, Russia leads Anna 54-31. We'll take a break and be back in a moment for the final period on NKTelco Sports. You'll want to stick around for our post-game report. Tanya and I will have your final stats as well as your NKTelco player of the game. Tanya, you mentioned the girls basketball a little earlier, and I wanted to ask you, it's a big weekend coming up. The tournament draw is on Sunday. Coaches voting all this week. I believe that tournament window closes on Saturday at noon. Just talking about the Shelby County League, they've got to have a few teams that are in those top 4 seeds.
They do. Fort Laramie Redskins will probably get number 1, followed by the Russia Raiders at number 2. Number 3 is probably going to come out of the WOAC, which is going to be the Miss Senegal Valley Blackhawks, which it's been several years since, I'm guessing back since Sierra York, which would have been Sierra St. New, who was a teacher at Russia. She played on a great team, and her dad was her coach at the time. So that's a different look that we're going to see. Maybe Jackson Center or Botkins, 4 or 5. Not sure what's coming out of the East in Riverside, or not sure where Triad's going, if they're Division 2 or 3 or 4. So it'll be interesting. We usually don't. Mechanicsburg usually has some good teams, so we expect good basketball out of them. So we'll see. It'll be exciting. The Raiders are dealing with some injuries, but Coach Bremergen will have them ready for tournament play, and that's the best time of the year. It's sometimes better than Christmas as tournament basketball. So I look forward to it every year, and that's the only time of the year I really miss coaching, is when you prepare for a tournament game. And there's nothing better than going over to Sydney to play and see what happens with this girls, and hopefully they get go to a district final game down at Troy.
Well, that fun starts on Sunday when the seeding is announced, and inbound play from Russia going to result in a foul by the Rockets. I believe that foul went on Trey Heitkamp. So Russia will inbound it as Flippo gets it off the back of Hulskamp and tries to get the easy bucket. Doesn't work that way. Nice attempt there by the senior.
Did you see the video of Ivy Wolf doing that at Miami?
I did see that, yeah. Smart play there by the Minster alum, who's doing very well at Miami right now.
She is. She's exciting to watch.
Turnover by the Rockets. Braden Monin goes up and hits the mats hard, and I hope he's okay. Boy, he hit those mats hard and went down, as the trainer will go over and check him out.
He hit earlier in the first half and ran and hit his back. So that might have something to do with this too, but I don't know that he hit his... Did he hit his head? He's kind of holding his head a little bit, but maybe just knocked the wind out of him.
That didn't look
Hopefully.
good. Yeah, both teams will head back to the bench as they tend to Braden Monin. Head coach Spencer Cordonier and assistant coach, varsity coach Brad Francis out there checking on the junior. The trainer gets him up, and he'll get a nice round of applause from both crowds. So Monin went up for a layup and was kind of spinning in the air.
Right.
Hit that mat extremely hard.
He wasn't stable going straight to the basket. He was kind of turning at that point anyways, and they did call an intentional foul in that situation. I don't know that I saw it, so.
Good to see a smile there on the junior's face. Braden Monin, who's standing in the corner right now with the trainer, and Coach Cordonier decides he's going to send his senior Ross Fissinger to the line to take
That's a big compliment.
Must
send you out to shoot these free throws.
Well, he'll have to do it all by himself on the intentional. Fissinger with 8 points already in this game gets the first one to go. Russia with 4 seniors. We've seen them all tonight. Along with Fissinger, you got Colby Monin, Xavier Flippo, and Zane Shappy. And Fissinger gets both of them. He now has 10. And in that third quarter, Anna outscored Russia 15-14. Russia now with the first 2 points of this fourth quarter. They now lead this ball game 56-31. Raiders with the ball after the intentional foul, a whistle, and Coach Cordonier wants a precision strip timeout. The 30-second timeout. We'll stay right here, Tanya.
It's kind of a wimpy little whistle. I was like, who's blowing that whistle? Didn't see that one coming, but...
As we said, coming into tonight, the SCAL standings. We'll go through them one more time. Jackson Center in first place at 9-1. Russia at 8-1. Botkins and Fort Laramie tied for third at 5-4. You've got Anna in fifth right now at 4-6. Houston in sixth place at 2-7. And finally, Fairlawn in seventh, looking for their first win at 0-10. You got to believe Russia going to pick up the win tonight, the way things are going,
right,
and move into a first place tie with Jackson Center at 9-1.
So they travel to Botkins next Friday, I believe, which that's a struggle. That is a struggle bus. It's hard to play it in the Coliseum. But Botkins brings a lot of excitement to basketball, and they'll give the Raiders all they can handle.
Look forward to that one next week. NKTelco will be broadcasting that. Of course, you can watch it on NKTelco there in the Coliseum. And ball knocked out of Xavier Flippo's hands on the Raider turnover. And up and off the glass, Madden, he's not going to get the bucket, but he's going to get fouled. I think they're going to give that one to Braylon Cordonier. Braylon throwing his hands up like, what I do. So the 5th Russia team foul versus just 3 for Anna right now for Cordonier. That is his 3rd. For the Rockets, have a couple players with 3 fouls in Dosek and Highcamp. Madden gets the first free throw to go down for Derek Madden. He now has 3 points, had 2 at the half. He's scored since back in the first quarter. And he goes 2 for 2 at the line to match Russia's 2 free throws, just hit a little earlier. Score now 56-33. Borchers to Cordonier to York. York, the only player yet not to score. Fissinger high off the glass. That shot's no good. Nice defense there by the Rockets. Highcamp with it, hands it off to Dosek. Dosek in the paint, nice going up against Cordonier. Cordonier, nice job altering that shot. Borchers with it, working against Hulskamp. Gets stopped by a Raider, and York's going to shoot, and Benjamin York gets his first point.
Shot. He really does. And when he's in varsity play, he seems to take really super smart shots. He's not forcing anything, and I think he knows what his role is when he is on the floor.
So York, who got, I believe, 3 quarters in that junior varsity game, right, maximizing his quarters here tonight. He is the 10th Raider to score.
Nice cut.
Had 4 points in that Houston game, and those points for the Rockets, I don't see who picked those up.
Highcamp.
Highcamp got that. So Trey Highcamp with 6 points now, all those coming here in the second half. Fissinger with the ball in the paint, kicks it out to York. York at the free throw line, spins, gives it to Cordonier. Cordonier in the paint, turns around, fade away, and he connects on that one.
Dribble penetration, and he's shooting. 1 minute he's on the block, posting up, trying to make a move on you next, and he scores that way. So
Braylon Cordonier now with 8 points. Going to get a foul on a Raider.
I've never seen Vince Borchers so physical in a game. He's picking up fouls, and that was off the ball.
So York will come out of the game along with Hulskamp, and coming in will be Felix Francis along with Colby Monin. Flippo heads to the bench as well. Evan Myers will inbound it for the Rockets, trying to find a teammate, and finally gets it out to trying to get it to Drew Dosek. That ball's going to go out of bounds as it goes off Dosek's hands. Borchers went up in an attempt to steal that pass.
I wasn't sure who that was. They were going to call that off. That was
former coach Don Cordonier. He said that went off the Rockets down there in the doorway.
He gave him a thumbs up.
Thumbs
he made
up
the right call.
Rishi with the ball, 5:13 to play here in the ball game. Cordonier hands it off to Francis. Back to Cordonier in the corner. Down low to Monin. Monin working against Madden in a reverse. Colby Monin's hit that shot before. He hits it again.
Colby had great position on that. He just got pushed too far under the basket and made something out of it and made a great shot.
6'3" senior now with 4 points. Madden with it, working against Colby Monin. Trying to get it down low. Does to Highcamp, up and over Cordonier. Again, nice defense by Cordonier, who goes straight up. Causing him to miss the shot. Borchers gets it out to Cordonier. Cordonier on the baseline, going to drive underneath the basket. And just like Monin, gets the reverse. So Braylon Cordonier now in double figures with 10 points.
They run that drill? They do that drill in practice? To practice that?
That's why you do it.
I guess.
Evan Myers working with the ball, trailing 64-35 right now. Highcamp working with it for the Rockets, trying to get it down low and turns it over. Cordonier now with the ball, looking for teammates. He decides to go up himself, gets the bump by Highcamp. He's going to head to the free throw line. What's the theme tonight here in the Rushi student section? Looks a little Hawaiian to me.
It's Hawaiian night, I believe.
Some leis and some Hawaiian shirts.
Nothing better than going shopping at the Goodwill to get some Hawaiian clothes to wear for Hawaiian night. They're all appropriately dressed.
Well, they're a little quiet here tonight.
Yeah.
That's because Russia has the 64-35 lead. Official Kevin Beckstead says there's going to be a full timeout, so we'll take it with him. You're listening to High School Boys Basketball.
We are here and here and here. Minster Bank is everywhere, providing every banking service that you need to keep your financial life in order. Whether you are on the go or stopping by one of our branches, Minster Bank is here for you. We proudly support the communities where you live. Minster Bank, helping people achieve financial success.
Unpack your potential with a career at Pratt Industries. Working at Pratt Industries is more than a job. It's a sustainable career.
Pratt Industries to me is a job. It's my career. It's the way I put food on my table, but I love what I do.
We offer competitive pay, excellent benefits, and opportunities for career advancement. To apply, visit careers.prattindustries.com.
So, Tanya, for the Russia Raiders, tomorrow night they have a big ball game over there at Versailles in that old high school gymnasium, and the girls actually start things off in the afternoon.
Yes, I believe we start with a freshman game at 10:30, followed by the JV at noon, and then a varsity game, followed by a freshman game, I believe, at 4:30, and then followed up by the JV boys and varsity boys. So it'll be interesting in that old facility how the Raiders can adapt to a smaller, tighter gym. It's going to slow the game down a little bit, which will play in Versailles' favor, I believe. So we'll see what that looks like.
Should be a fun day over there at Versailles. Lots of ball games there between a couple backyard rivals in the Russia Raiders and the Versailles Tigers.
For some reason, I'm thinking next year, actually, Russia and Versailles are playing at the Hoosier Gym, maybe. That's the matchup that will be over there. So maybe they're getting ready for that to play over there. Heard the rumor. Don't know if that's true, but I got a little inside, but not a lot. So
Cordonier goes 2 for 2 at the line. He has his best quarter of the night with 6 points, and with that, Coach Cordonier says, have a seat. I'm going to bring in one of the junior varsity players, and that's Jackson Grogine, who we talked about earlier, perhaps being the future point guard for Russia after this season. So Cordonier, got to think maybe he ended his night with 12 points. We'll see if he gets in a little later. Perhaps Coach Cordonier looking to empty his bench a little bit. Get some of those junior varsity players in. Speaking of junior varsity players, Benjamin York with the ball, gets it to his junior varsity teammate and Jackson Grogine. Francis with it, gets it back to York, down low to Mon, and Mon on that right block. Shot rolls off the rim, no good. And a tie-up, no, it's going to be a foul on Felix Francis.
Jackson Grogine could bring you some minutes come tournament time, too, should you get into some trouble. He brings a lot of excitement, and he works hard, and he can shoot. So they get in foul trouble, and they got to go deep. Hope that's not the case, but you never know.
And correction, that foul is not on Francis. It's actually on Grogine. And free throw on the way by Drew Dosek is no good. And substitution now for the Rockets. They will bring in Keith Homan for the first time. He's a 5'10 sophomore, number 30 out there on the floor. Heading to the bench will be Carter Siegel. Dosek with one more attempt from the line. He misses that one. Rebound by Francis. The Raiders with the ball and 3:18 to go in the game, and the shot by Grogine is no good. Rebound by Brady Winning, number 14 out there, also in the ball game. He's a 6'3" freshman. So the future of Rockets looking bright with the freshman Winning out there playing varsity.
You know, Anna's roster is very young when it comes to depth-wise. Their problem the next time they're going to face the Raiders is their depth is that way too. You know, when you have 10 guys that are scoring and less than or more than 50% are underclassmen, that's a great thing for the Raiders. So not as much for the Rockets, but for, you know, they have going to have to see these same kids next year.
Drew Dosek starting to get his points here tonight. He's got 7 of them all here in the second half. Probably one of the leading scorers on this team. Had a team-high 14 in that Houston win on Tuesday. And Benjamin York will get his 4th point of the game. All 4 of those coming in the fourth quarter.
For the Rockets, as we were discussing their tournament run, they could see teams like Brookville and Tri-Village who are both having fantastic seasons, in addition to, a Shelby County team in Houston goes into that bracket as well. So they're going to see maybe this is going to help prepare them for, a long tournament run, and they're going to surprise some people, which wouldn't shock me. If they made a nice little run, I wouldn't want to play them.
Well, as we said earlier, the girls' tournament draw this Sunday. The boys will be next Sunday. And that Piqua sectional, of course, a lot of people are debating, at least Russia fans, whether the Jackson Center Tigers gets the number 1 seed or the Russia Raiders. Both teams with just 1 loss, both to each other. That loss by Russia, or the loss by Jackson, the first game of the season by 1 point, and then Russia gets beat by Jackson on their home court by 12 more recently. You got to think the nod would go to the Jackson Center Tigers.
In my opinion, absolutely. I hate to say that, but it's the way I feel. Because Jackson Center just manhandled the Raiders. They took them completely out of their game. There was no, they liked the dribble penetration. That they couldn't go anywhere. They were forcing them all beyond the 3-point line. So I would give the nod to the Tigers, but I don't know how all the other coaches feel. So maybe, they didn't score as much against, the Raiders throttled Fort Laramie in the first half, but Jackson Center didn't. So you never know how other coaches are feeling when it comes to that. And so we'll see. It'll be interesting, but, you anticipate 1-2. And they're both going to have to play either Laramie or Botkins to get out of Piqua. And so we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun. No matter what, it's going to be a blast.
A basket by Zeb Schultze, a 6-foot sophomore who's now in the ball game. And, what might be more interesting is those 3 or 4 seeds, whether that's a Fort Laramie or a Botkins, who they'll jump on, whether it'll be Jackson Center or Fort Laramie.
Right, and my anticipation is maybe Fort Laramie is going to jump towards Jackson Center because their game was a little closer than it was with the Raiders. The Raiders faced them the second to last game of the season in 2 weeks here in the Claire C. Naveau Gymnasium. But maybe Botkins is going to head more towards the Raiders. That game was close in and out for the first 3 quarters. About 5 minutes to go in the game, the Raiders started to pull away a little bit, I felt like, and had a handle on the game. So we'll see. You never know.
Under a minute to play here in this ball game as Russia is going to get whistled for a carry. Jackson Grosjean whistled for the carry.
Fans woke up. They got their coats, and now they're upset.
So a little bit of drama here in the last 36 seconds of the ball game on that whistle by the officials for the carry by the Raiders. And Rockets maybe one more opportunity to score here before our final horn. Stick around. Tanya and I will have your post-game report. We'll go right into it after we thank our sponsors. Tell you all your final numbers as well as our NKTelco player of the game. And Raiders going to run the clock out here. And hold on here for a 70-37 win. So we'd like to thank our sponsors here tonight again for bringing this ball game to you. They are Keel Pizza, First National Bank, Precision Strip, Emerson Copeland, Carriage Works, Grand Lake Health, Kogi Plumbing and Heating, Lincoln Electric Automation, Minster Bank, Pratt Industries, New Knoxville Supply, Wagner's IGA, Wilson Health, Winners Meats, Jewelry Barn, and NKTelco. Additional sponsors include Burke Petroleum, Chiltex LLC, Cy Sweeterman Inc., Dickman Supply, Hometown Opportunity, Hulsman Automotive, Park National Bank, SecureCom, and St. Henry Bank. Tanya, we said it at halftime, not the game we'd expect tonight. Nonetheless, still a good victory for the Russia Raiders.
The Raiders took off from the word go. They were hitting shots. They were hot. And then in the third quarter, Anna kind of stepped its way back into the game and were started to get more physical. You could see it in their play and just their demeanor. They were going after balls a lot more and being more aggressive, and which made them cut it down into, I think it was 19 at one point. Then the Raiders just took it back over and finished winning by 33 points. So great game for the Raiders. Hopefully the Rockets have a great season. We look forward to seeing them make a tournament run, and we wish them nothing but the luck.
All right, so the quarter scoring between the two teams went like this. Russia won the first quarter at 22-7, as well as the second quarter 18-9 for our halftime score of Russia 40, Anna 16. In that third quarter, Rockets actually won that one by a point, 15-14, and then Russia in the fourth outscored Anna 16-6. Again, our final score 70-37. 11 different Raiders scored, and I'm just going to go down the list here, Tanya. Hayden Quinter with 10 points. Braylon Cordonier had 12. Braden Monin with 7. Zane Shappy had 4. Xavier Flippa with 8. Felix Francis with 2. Ross Fissinger with 10. Vince Borchers with 7. Colby Monin with 4. Benjamin York with 4. And finally, Zeb Schulte with 2. For the Rockets, they had 7 different players score, and going down the list for them, it was Carter Siegel with 6 points, Mason Carey with 3, Drew Dosek with 7, Trey Heitkamp with 6, Derek Madden with 4, Hayden Hulskamp with 5, and finally Alex Shappy with 6. Tanya, I'll leave it to you to name our NKTelco player of the game. 11 different Raiders score makes it kind of tough.
Makes it a little tough, and there's 2 players that come to mind to me tonight. One would be Hayden Quinter, and only because he distributed the ball so well. He would get around players, and then he would look for that open guy and distribute it. But I think tonight we have to give it to Ross Fissinger. He stepped up and hit some big shots, and that's who I'm voting for the NKTelco player of the game.
All right, so our NKTelco player of the game is Ross Fissinger. Congratulations, Ross, on that. And with that, that will wrap things up here tonight. Anna's going to drop to 7-11 overall, including 4-7 in the SCAL. They will be back in action right away again tomorrow night, hosting the Division III state-ranked #1 Miami East Vikings. For Russia, they will improve to 16-1 overall, including 9-1 in the SCAL, which, by the way, moves them into a first-place tie for the league lead with Jackson Center. They are also back at it tomorrow and will travel to Versailles to visit the Tigers. Just a final reminder for Russia fans, that game will not be in the new high school, rather the old high school, which they now call the board office. And Tanya, awful fun doing this first boys basketball game.
It's been a blast, and I can't wait to do more. So I wish Anna luck tomorrow night, because Miami East is going to be it's going to be a tough task for them. You know, they've got Roth and Enos. You know, the good thing about that is they can do more focusing on who they're guarding versus the Raiders tonight that had all those players that scored. You can focus more on 2 to 3 players against the Vikings than you can with the Raiders. So good luck, Anna. Knock them off, and let's see them move down those ranks a little bit.
And the Russia Raiders are going to have their hands full with a couple guys named Connor Stonebreaker and Jace Watron.
Absolutely. Stonebreaker headed to Hillsdale, Michigan next year to continue his athletic and academic career, in addition to Mr. Stallman, who his brother tends to put up a ton of points against the Raiders. So for the Raider fans, I hope he doesn't have that kind of night, but we wish them luck as well. And, you know, backyard rivals, a lot of relatives, a lot of friends. So it's always a good night to catch up with friends and family, and good luck to the Raiders tomorrow night.
Well, that will wrap it up for us here tonight for a final time. Russia defeats Anna 70-37. We hope you enjoyed NKTelco's broadcast of high school boys basketball. Thanks for tuning in. And from Russia Local Schools, I'm Craig Fissinger. For my broadcast partner, Tanya Hammond, saying good night, everyone.